practical, my personal experience, I suggest you guys that take the right time to learn these softwares. I mean, not those software in particular, because when we have to carry out our own job, we have no time to learn anything. We have to, run, because we are looking after emergency. So I know how it works. So the only option that we have to learn a kind of different approach also by using the software is taking a bit of our free time to dedicate to this. Otherwise, sometimes it's very difficult. But practically speaking, how have you done the process so far for the site planning? Ahmed, do you mind to start?
Yeah, sure. So first, of course, like we start using the AutoCAD program and using the leveling station. I forgot the name.
Yeah, no problem.
Total station. To just like to specify the contour of the land that targeted in our project, and just take this information and use it for using AutoCAD, just to specify the dimensions and the heights for the land, for our land. That's it's easy enough just to use the AutoCAD.
Okay, no, that's totally fine. I mean, what you're doing is absolutely correct. That's no doubt. But for this training, we have to try to expand the knowledge. Unfortunately, we have a very limited amount of time to do that. So we have to kind of be quick. So we rely on your capacity of making self-learning. So to use the software, to keep using them and to familiarize. And Omer, how did you do your site planning so far?
Actually, I didn't go to the details you have mentioned in the last two sessions. What we tried to do is just getting the contour lines and drawing the site on AutoCAD. I didn't try to use like such as softwares you just shared with us, Global Mapper, or we used just Google Earth and AutoCAD, and we didn't look even to the other sides, like the social side of the planning, actually. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we didn't go to the details.
Okay. And Khaled?
Actually, two, let's say, two kinds of involvement in this. One was during the designing the roads inside the camps. So I had to make I had to take the photos from Google Earth and transfer it to AutoCAD Civil 3D. But the version after the version of 2013 or 2014, we are not able to transfer it directly. So we have to have a third party program in between, which was a Global Mapper. There where I started learning Global Mapper, and I transferred it to Global Mapper and make the contour lines and all these things, and then import it to AutoCAD Civil 3D. While doing that, I had to make this the terrain analysis and all these things. And after that, this is from one side. The other project, which is the quarantine center, actually we were focusing more on AutoCAD software, in the site planning process, just drawing and having these distances, etc. Yeah, that was my experience, let's say.
No, that's okay. But for example, the camps that you have designed, how many people are living these camps as an average?
It's actually it is different. It's already there, and we are making some graveling for roads, etc. So we have to have the current roads gravelled and designed in order to prevent the floods, etc. So we had to make this terrain analysis inside.
Okay. How many people are in that camp?
How many people? It is different, actually. If you be a little bit patient, I can
roughly?
For me, our intervention was in 2 camps. One of them was an extension for an existing camp. So the extension was going to host like 400 households. And the other camp is like establishing a new camp. And it's ongoing right now. It's going to be like semi-constructed units hosting 500 households approximately.
Okay, okay. No, it's kind of a big camp. And for you, Hamed?
So we have 2 projects actually. The one that we already started to implement actually contains 14 expansion of 9 camps.
Okay.
And the total household that we target is about 1,020 households in 14 expansion or extension.
Okay.
So it's a bit we face kind of challenges for the land. It's so 2 of them are kind of rocky land. So we had to make this groveling and leveling the ground, the whole ground, the campground or the extension. And in other part, just we made groveling only the road and the size or the area of the camp only.
Okay.
For the new project that we submitted recently, I'm planning actually to apply the location that we will target using the Google Mapper and the like to specify more about the land specification and specialization. You know, to be more realistic and to be more easy when they will implement the project. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Even because if you manage to expand your capacity to design and introduce these sites through a proper mapping, even the donors, even your counterparts are kind of amazed because you see that you're really looking into this aspect. And let's consider that the camps that you are dealing with are not that huge. I'm fairly big, but not huge. And you might find yourself in a situation where you have no total station and you have no chance to use it. Okay. Particularly in some remote areas. So you have to rely on a different way of collecting the data. Fortunately, nowadays, we have this kind of tools. Okay. The old style, there was not even AutoCAD. I mean, the very first site planners 20, 30 years back, maybe more in the 70s, they will use the handwriting. So it's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we have actually 16 camps in our current project, and the number of households means the number of tents are different from one to each. For example, we have 220, we have 190, we have 300, we have 125, we have 70, we have 40, we have 260 households. Yeah, that means number of tents, yani.
Okay.
Etc. Yani, an average of 250. It's they are not big camps, but they are already there and used for a couple of months there, and we are rehabilitating the drainage system and the roads there by graveling, etc. So our interaction was different from one camp to other. It's not a big scaled involvement, but calculating 16 camps gives the number, makes it a high number.
Okay, I have to increase the volume. Okay, now that's fine. Okay, let's start because we are again we have very limited time. Because from my side, it's important to spread the message that when we design a camp, it's like being an architect or an engineer, and a client is coming to us is asking, I need to design my home. Can you make the design of my home? And then you put, an effort which is not just about engineering stuff. If you decide where to place a window so that the owner have a good view outside, you get my point, to have a nice kind of courtyard, to have all these aspects which, enhance and the quality of the house, which is not just based on the calculation of the pillars and the foundation. So the same kind of approach has to be put in the designing of the site planning. Okay, guys, I'm going to share my screen now. Do you see it?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. But so the idea was to, practically speaking, start from a KMZ file. Why? If I double click on the KMZ file, it's immediately open Google Earth. Just a little bit of time. And then you know immediately where you are. The point of using a KMZ file is because sometimes you have operators in the field, they have no total station, but they have their own telephone. Okay. No, we all have smartphones, and all our smartphones have the capacity through very simple application to track the direction where you are moving. So let's guess the situation that you have one of your colleagues that managed to visit the site and simply just walk all around the site, identifying a path. Okay, so he's going to record the path just to identify the border of the camps. Maybe he has been here with the local community, with the local authorities, and they say, of course, now you can use this piece of land. Okay, so let's go for it. Then you have the colleague that is walking around and is creating a KMZ file, like this one. And you know where you are. Okay. We have chosen this piece of land because it can immediately give you some indication by looking at this photo. For example, we are fairly close to pretty big villages over here, correct? We have over here, you see that we have a kind of wide network of roads so that people can probably move around a little bit, maybe from this settlement to the city, and as such utilize some of the infrastructure of the city, maybe the school, maybe the health facility, we don't know. So that maybe not necessary you are not forced to build any single infrastructures over here because you might find them outside. Is that clear? Okay. Okay, just we are few.
Yes.
You have the chance to interrupt me as many times as you want. So it might be the point that you can interrupt me and say something. Okay, please do that. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, okay, sorry, because I got a message
we are
that
alive.
because of the internet is kind of going down where I am. Okay.
I was wondering if the problem is from my internet connection.
No, I think it's mine because I got a message, a window just popped up saying that your internet connection is low. I have no idea why, because it's the first time which is happening. Okay.
Yeah.
So just start. Let's have a look. Do you notice anything else here for this spot? I hope the picture that you get from your screen is clear enough.
Yeah, we have road near the camp, next to the camp.
Okay, that's excellent. An existing road.
And
okay.
Is it an agricultural land on the left side and the rocky land on the right side?
Yeah, precisely. Here on the left side over here, there are some trees that might look like here are perfectly aligned. So this might be, I don't know, for fruits. Anyway, it seems that here the people are using this land over here. So all of these are cultivated fields. And here,
sorry,
please.
I mean the type of the soil on the left side and on the right side.
Excellent.
Is it different?
Yeah, I guess so. I've never been there, so I guess so too. But probably over here, it looks like an agricultural field. Okay. While here, it doesn't look as an agricultural field. So you might assume that over here is more rocky, stones and rocks, because there are no trees, it's empty. And here, you might assume that the soil is smooth, it's not that compact. So here you are facing two different type of problems. So probably the kind of improvement you will have to put here will be different than here. Okay. Another aspect which is a little bit closer, if I go here, I can notice that there is something over here that perhaps is for construction materials. It's a cave. You see it?
Yes.
So it might be possible that maybe speaking with the owner of this site, we might be able to get some gravel on anything stones which might be used for the camp. Of course, we'll have to pay, but it's better to pay something which is close. So maybe we save a little bit of money. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why it's important you look around. Of course, this is a theoretical exercise. We just pick this land by just surfing the web. So we actually don't know what's going on in practically speaking. Then you will have to verify, because for example, you as a site planner might not have time to go and find the owner of this place and talk to him. But what is important, that even here in the middle, it's kind of tricky place, because it might look like as a dump site. You see it? We are not sure what it is. Of course, our colleague, which has been in the field over here, of course, already gave us some indication. But if this is a dump site, let's guess for the worst. So this is a dump site. The people are throwing their garbage over here. And this is a very big problem for us. You get my point. From a health point of view. But in this case, perhaps we have no other option because this is the only land available. Okay. So if this is actually a dump site, probably we will have to do something over here. Definitely, we will have to fence this one. We'll have to protect as much as possible the camp from this side. So immediately, another element that you can notice, that the border, the edge of the camp, does not include this road. So we don't have at the moment an access road. We will have to create one, and most likely from these two sides of the camp. Okay. So as you can see, this is the very first quick analysis that we can carry out. And then we start to do more practical stuff. From Global Mapper, okay, the very first thing that you have to control, which has been already mentioned by Andrea, is the projection of this software. Keep in mind, if you work with different projections, you will be in trouble. Do you know what's the meaning of projection?
I'm not sure. No.
Okay.
It's kind of how to say, approaching the shape of the earth, projection, the shape, the spherical shape of the earth on a flat elevation, let's say, on a flat level.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
when you calculate the spherical distances, it's round. So when you project that on some flat level, so this is the projection.
Precisely. I mean, our planet is not a perfect sphere. Okay. So as such, there are different kind of projection. There are different kind of making geometrical representation of our planet. Also, projection is also related to the position where you are, because the curvature of the land is different on the North Pole than the one on the equator, for example. And this has effect on the use of this software. And also, which is important to know, that you know that the Earth has been split in parallels and meridians. Okay, so according to the position of the planet where you are, for example, if I do this, okay, this is our planet. It's a very nice planet, but unfortunately there are too many wars. Okay, the kind of projection that I have over here in Syria and the south of Turkey is different than the kind of projection that I have here in the very north. Okay, because it's a matter of the geometrical representation of the portion of the planet where you are. Okay, so by using the software, there is a huge simplification which is determined by using geographical position, longitude and latitude, but this cannot work with AutoCAD. Okay, so that's why, for example, we have to be sure we go on tools, configure, over here projection. You see that here we are in graphic latitude and longitude. If we want to shift correctly from Global Mapper, Quantum GIS, and AutoCAD, for example, we have to work. There is more than one, but we have decided to go for this one. It's a kind of a little bit complicated with UTM. Okay. Then we are UTM over here, double GS84, but you see that here we are in the southern hemisphere. We are still in the north hemisphere. I seek for the north hemisphere, and voila, it's this one. 36 degrees east, 42 degrees north. Now we are correctly placed on this part of the world. If one day you will find yourself to work, for example, I don't know, in Africa, you can search on the web the UTM position of your place and you will find it easily, and you will set your software accordingly. Then you say apply, and voila. And then we go for open data files. Okay, I'll go to Dropbox. I go to public. I go to site planning training. I go to site planning simulation, and I go to our KMZ file, which is the one that has been created by us when we were in the field with the mobile phone of one of our colleagues. And here we have. Now we are starting to understand what's going on. If I go on the top left, I have here the icon of the planet. And then I start with the word imaginary. Okay, I click on it. Just to, in this case, I could download the entire planet, but I go for draw a box. Okay, I zoom out a little bit and I create the area which I have of my concern, and I say, okay, and I say connect. If everything works, we should be in the right position. Okay, we are. If you look at the list of a layer over here, on the bottom there is word imaginary. I simply click and drag it on top. So I put below the emergency settlement KMZ file, and then I have it here. Can you see it?
Yes.
Perfect. And now I can start to some sort of stuff. What? The very first one is I go to tools. No, sorry. I go back to our online data. I click on it, and you have on the top normally two sources of data. One is Aster GDM, and the other one is SARD, Worldwide Elevation Data. Both of them are kind of okay. Okay. One day you will see what, in your opinion, is the most precise. Okay. I let you the chance to try on your own. So in this case, we simply use the Aster GDM, and I click on it. Then I say, I draw a box, and I say, this is might be more than enough for me, for my analysis. you see that I'm including the cave, just to have an idea. Then I say, okay, and then I say connect. We have to give the software which is elaborating is downloading the data from the web. Just
Giorgio,
a little bit.
by making this window, you are just assuming, you are making this window just so that no huge data is being downloaded, right?
Yeah, yeah, precisely.
We would download all the data for the whole world.
Yes, that's the point. Okay. So as you can see here, we have the asset GDM. I just simply click and drag it and put it here. And I stop the word imaginary for now. Otherwise, it keeps downloading the data, it keeps generating. So as you can see here, now we have our settlement. Having the asset GDM allowed me to create the contour lines. Okay. And the way I do it, I go to Tools over here on the top, Analysis, and generate contour lines from terrain grid. And then I have this window. I mean, the point is this one. With this software, you can do a lot of stuff. Okay, but start learning the ABCs pretty easy. I mean, having the contour lines is already a great achievement. Okay. For example, in this window, in this space, you have the gap between the contour lines, which is in this case is 10 meters. Okay, it's not enough. I put it down to 1 meter. So the gap between the elevation is going to be 1 meter. Okay. Then this data over here, X and Y axis, as for the smoothness of the contour lines. Because if you make it simple, all the corners of the contour lines will be very sharp. Okay, just keep it as it is. You might play on it a little bit, and then you just check that you have the labels included with the elevation, which is the number. Okay, and this one is also important. Find local peaks and depression. So where you have the highest point and the lowest point of your settlement. Of course, in the highest point, you might put your water tank. In the lowest point, you might put something which is related to the outflow of the storm water, for example. And then I say, also in this case, I draw a box, which could be enough for me. It's not necessary to go over. And I say, you go for it. And here we go. You see that we have on the yellow triangles are the peaks, the highest point, while the blue one are the lowest. Okay. So basically, I immediately hear that probably over here, from this direction, from this right side to the left side, and is going to be the movement of the water. Maybe we'll start the next days with, for example, with flood simulation analysis, if it is the case. I don't think so for this kind of land because it's very hilly. But we can do the watershed analysis and we can do the stream analysis. But this is something easy. You have the tutorials. So I will continue a little bit with the process. Guys, you have any other question? Okay.
For me, that's fine.
Okay, so I continue. Okay, for example, let's start to play around a little bit with the software. We have collected already enough data. For example, if I unselect over here this one, the contour lines will disappear. Okay, for the moment, I deselect everything, but the emergency settlements KMZ file. So I click on it, okay, then I go to File, I go to Export over here, And you see here that you have export, vector, and LiDAR. LiDAR is another stuff, but go for vector. Here is already the shape file is this type of file that you will work with Quantum GIS. Okay, and I say yes. I say okay. I will say export as an area. And then we go, for example, I don't save this data because you will create them for yourself. Documenti, we do for site planning training simulation. For Quantum GIS, sorry guys, some of them have been created the other days. I will call it emergency settlement 2.2, and I create the shape file. Okay, and I have it here, and then I say add elevation attribute, add feature of the layer, and I say okay, and then the shape file has been created. Then what I can do, I can open Quantum GIS. Okay, I will go for I'm sorry, the interface is in Italian, and that's I didn't think about that, but you see, you will have setting, and you will have option. You go to SR, and you verify that your projection is the one correct over here, which has already been placed. You see WGS 84 UTM 37 north, so which is correct. Okay, which is correct. So here on the top left, you have import file, and then I go to choose it. Non lo so, Maria, adesso, sorry. And then sorry guys, I go to Documenti, Site Planning Training Simulation, Quantum GIS, and we call it Emergency Settlement 2.2 shapefile, which is here. I open it, and here we go. Now I have to move a little bit the window over here. I mean, the possibility of a Quantum GIS in terms of understanding are much higher than Global Mapper. For example, if you look at my screen here, using the application, this one, which is called Quick Map Service, but don't worry, so we will go to that. Quick Map Service, you can search plenty of maps. I might start, for example, this is the Bing Maps. Double click. Which kind of map is it? Okay, no, it's not my favorite one. Let's go, let's see, Google. We have Google Roads. Okay, and for example, I can have a look.
Giorgio, where did you get Google Roads from?
Okay, you have Quantum GIS.
I didn't see the pointer.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, say again.
I didn't see the mouse pointer. I mean.
Okay.
Where
sorry.
did you go?
Okay. In the interface of Quantum GIS, you have a plugin over here, and then you can download and upload in your software different kind of plugins. Some of them are related to the search of maps. Okay. Then if you go, oops, sorry, but my mouse is having a problem with web. You have open layers plugins that you have a series of options. As you can see, you have OpenStreetMap, you have Google Maps, Bing Maps, and then you have an option which is Quick Map Service. Okay, Quick Map Service is much better because it's more scientific. So go for it. The other one, you might have some issues. And then when you click on it, on the right side of your screen, it will appear a search window where you can load many different kind of data. In this case, I'm just uploading anything which is called Google. There are some of them that have a Russian text. So it's just a matter to seek for. Let's go for this one. This is Google Satellite. Let's have a look whether it works. Double click. Here we go. You see that now we have our settlement over here, but we have a map with which it's very easily to interact. For example, by using Google, you might see some words in Arabic. Okay, but this is a mosque, for example. I think this is a market, correct? Do you see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, this is given to me like a shopping mall, like a shopping center. I don't know, maybe that dimension is small, but I can identify the mosque. Sometimes I can see where the schools are. Okay, this is a very important, where the hospital are. So when I look at them at my settlement, I look at the settlement from a different perspective, because I see the settlement included in a wide range of facility and territory. It's no more disconnected. It's no more an island in the middle of nowhere. Do you get my point? You have any
Yes.
comment, guys? Anything to ask?
So basically, I'm just I'm trying to connect the Google Mapper with QGIS. So how QGIS could specify this land with Google Earth, let's say, or Google Satellite. So just because we just specify the coordinates on Google Mapper, global mapper, right?
Yes, because actually with the quantum GIS, you can import this kind of data without passing through global mapper. But it's a little bit more complicated. Personally, I have never learned to do that. The way you handle the data with global mapper, getting KMZ file, getting DWG file, AutoCAD file, or DXF file is far more easier. Okay, with the global mapper, you can do stream analysis, watershed analysis, which you cannot do with the quantum GIS. Quantum GIS is just to understand the territory as such. You can do many stuff with the quantum GIS. You have no idea. You can do different kind of mapping. You can do infographics. You can do a lot of stuff. You can create amazing maps. If you Google in internet, you search in internet, the capability of Google quantum GIS are very huge. But in terms of technicalities, for us that we remain technicians, I think global mapper is better. Particularly the interface, interlink, I mean, global mapper with AutoCAD. Okay. So,
Giorgio, I do have a question. What is the differences now between showing all these places and you know, social places between Google Earth and here? I mean, if we just open Google Earth program and we went directly to the location where we are supposed to do our site planning there. So you can you can see there the names of mosques, shops, etc. It's all there also. So I mean, what is the specialty, let's say, of showing the site plan on QGIS? Did I make myself clear?
Yeah, no, that's clear, the question. But the problem that the capacity of quantum GIS are far more bigger than the capacity of Google Earth. You cannot compare them. So you can do quite a lot of stuff. For example, and the interface is very good. For example, just to show you one example, as you can see here, I have Google Satellite, and then I have Google Roads. For example, I can drag Google Satellite before Google Roads, and then
sorry, George, just to remind that we have less than 2 minutes.
oh my goodness. Okay. So look at this capacity. Can you see it? I made the Google Satellite more transparent so I can see below the roads and still have all the information with a little bit of satellite imagery in the background. Okay. For example, I can create easily maps. Like for example, we call in map. You see this object. If you click on it, you can decide what it is, whether it's an A4 and A3. So I can import the map. Look at what I'm doing. I'm importing the map so quickly. Okay. And here I have the map. I can go closer. I can put a scale here in a matter of seconds. I can put infograph. I can put the legenda. For example, over here, I have the legenda. Okay, in this case, we had few layers. And this is already done. I can do a PDF. I can do a JPG. I can do whatever. So, and I did it in 2 seconds. Oh my goodness, we have to remain here more. We'll ask for more time. Is that okay, guys? Okay. We'll close in 48 seconds. Okay, we continues until we will be forced to go out. So I cannot get rid of this window. Okay. So Khaled, just to respond to your questions, the way
I get it. It's very nice.
So the way you can produce map is super cool. You will learn how to make a proper legenda. For example, you can create a map and say, since the most highest point is this one, I will put the logo of the water reservoir here, and I will say, we can provide water to this village. You get the point as well.
Yeah.
So the capabilities here are far more bigger. Okay. Google Earth is just to please the people, but you cannot really interact in the way you can do in this way.
Right.
So if I go back, okay, you see? Okay. Okay, you see my screen, guys?
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. This is to say that in this case over here, creating a map with Quantum GIS is very easy, very user friendly. If you have to make a presentation, and as a technician, you have to present, to show your findings. This is the best way to do it. As you can see, I have created a scale, and immediately, quickly, in a matter of seconds. If you click on the legenda, okay, you can then move here on the property of the object, and you have it here. I'm sorry, guys, it's my fault. I didn't think about that. The interface is in Italian, but when you will use it, it's so user-friendly. It's like using Word, Microsoft Word. It's very user-friendly. Then you can go here, and you can deselect and modify the legenda. For example, I want this one called in a different way. Okay, double click, and I call it, I will call it, I don't know, Baloo. Okay. And then you see which it has been immediately modified over here. And the legenda is updated when you work on Quantum GIS. Okay, you simply click here, refresh, and it will be immediately updated. That, for example, you click here, and you might say that you have to go to composition, actually object property, and you say here, frame it. And you can decide to have a frame which is going to be red, for example. You see that now it's the frame all around is red. And very, very easy. If I go to the property of this object, I can quickly change the scale over here. You see, instead of 3,000, 31,000, I put 40,000. And it's getting farther. If I put here, I don't know, 15,000, just a bit of, you see, I'm getting closer. And then through this instruction over here, I can put my settlement in the center. And as you can see, the scale has been already updated.
Yeah.
I can click on the object of the scale. For example, I click here, and then I go here, and I can change the property of this object, putting more rows, putting less rows, changing from meters to kilometers. So it's super cool. You have an idea. The capabilities, those is just the basic, but you can do quite a lot. All the maps that I was showing you the other days were done with, were prepared with Quantum GIS. Okay. Now I go back by simply clicking on the relative window over here. I'm back on my Quantum GIS interface. Okay, simply using the mouse, the wheel of the mouse, I go closer. I go as close as I need. Okay, then what is happening? For example, over here, if I make double click on the emergency settlement layer, by simply double click over here, I have a series of options. You see here now is green colored, but I can change the color of the border, the outline, and I can tell him I don't want nothing inside. And I say apply, and I have it here. Okay. Already in Quantum GIS, I have the option. You have to give it a little bit of time. For example, if I want to design my settlement using Quantum GIS, I can. Why? I simply create a new layer, new shapefile. Over here, I have to decide whether it's a dot, whether it's a line, whether it's a polygon. Maybe a dot, the dots might be the water points, for example. A line might be an internal road. The polygon might be a community. So if I click in the community and then I say, okay, then I am in site planning training simulation. I choose the folder to GIS and I say, I call it this one, I don't know, I'm just guessing, child friendly space. Okay. Yep. Oh my
Giorgio,
goodness.
your voice was cracking.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Can you hear me now?
Would you repeat the last phrases, please?
Okay. Now you can hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? Guys, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we
Okay.
can. Yeah.
We can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. Did you miss the part in which I have created a new layer?
Yes.
Okay, by simply clicking here, new shapefile, you click on it, and then you can create 3 different types of shapefile. Could be a point, a dot, could be a line for a road, for example, or could be a polygon for a building or a community or whatever you want. So I've chosen polygon, and I say, okay, and then it will ask him, what's the name of the polygon? Okay, in this case, I have chosen child-friendly space. I just annul over here. And then I have it here. Okay, and then I can start drawing, for example, my, what is it? My child-friendly space over here. Oops, sorry. I forgot to click this one. Add element. Then you have a series of design options over here. Like, for example, you have the possibility to make the lines on 90 degrees to each other. You have snap. You can create different kind of shapes. It's like a kind of CAD, okay? And then, for example, why you are designing, for example, from this point over here, I have immediately the coordinates, and there is a way I can set up the distance. By clicking here, I can tell this guy, for example, make a 20 meters line. So I know that I'm precisely designing the space as I want. But now it's not very important. I just create a shape over here, and I say here where there are these nice trees. My computer is particularly slow. I don't know why.
How many programs are you opening now?
Too many.
You can close a couple of them.
Yeah, but the problem, I just closed perhaps Google Maps, Google Earth. Okay.
If I saw that AutoCAD was running, right?
Yeah, also AutoCAD is running.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
it takes a very big of the internal memory. You can just
I will try to keep it for now because we are going to use it. Otherwise, I have to open it. But anyway, so I can start drawing my child-friendly space, for example, over here. And I keep it where there are the trees. Then you can assign names. For example, if you create, for example, 2,000 family plots through Quantum GIS, you can know exactly the number of the plots that you have designed. You can name them. So you can create an Excel file very easily. Okay. And then I have my child-friendly space, for example, over here. And then I save it. I say, yes, keep it. Okay. And then, for example, if I go back to my emergency settlement using Global Mapper, I can simply open. I go to Documents, I go to Site Planning Training Simulation, I go to Quantum GIS, I go to the shapefile of the child-friendly space, and I have it here. You see? It's here. If I carry out a flowed simulation analysis of my site, if I create the watershed, I might see whether my child-friendly space is in the wrong position because that is a flowed prone area. So I have to move it in another side. So you are starting to learn the capabilities of the software, I guess. Okay. So I think we can leave Quantum GIS for now. By the way, I go back to my mapping. I refresh it. And you see that I have the child-friendly space already in my map. Okay. If I click on the legenda, sorry, I have to move around. And I select update automatically. You have it here on your legenda. Do you see it? And you have your legenda, which has already been done. I have the the friendly space, which has been, there is a grammatical mistake, no matter. And I have it already there. So it's even make your job far more easier and far more quicker. Okay, guys. So let's keep it as it is for the moment, and we go back to our fantastic global mapper. Over here, we have the child-friendly space. I can put it back, the contour lines. And I don't know, I noticed that I have one of the child-friendly space close to one of the peak, one of the highest point of the whole settlement. And I say, oh, maybe this is a good position because I could put the water tower, the water tank for the child-friendly space and the schools over here, and the connection is going to be very close. Okay, maybe here there is a road, it's not possible to do that, but just to let you imagine the capabilities of the software. So you can understand easily that these the possibility that you have are kind of enormous, and more you will work on it, more you will explore, and you will discover more capabilities. Okay, now let's make a try, which is this one. I want, for example, I need the contours, of course, the matrix settlement, the contours, and the child-friendly space. I need them to, where is it? To export as a vector file. In this case, I'm going to choose DXF, and I say yes. Yeah, I say yes, and I tell him there are more than option, but let's keep it this simply. Include display labels as a separate text layer, so you have the elevation. For example, I might decide to go for boundary, so I draw a box, I zoom out a little bit, and I keep it a little bit smaller because maybe I just need this element, and I say okay, and I say okay, and then this guy should be telling me which name of the file. So I select, for example, the CAD folders, and we will call it Dream Team Site Planning. And we say, go for it, save it. It should be already done. Then I go to the folder, Documents, Site Planning Simulation, CAD, and Dream Team Site Planning. Double click. I make a zoom extension, and here we go. And then we can normally work on AutoCAD. And it's amazing because I have my child-friendly space over here. I have the border of my camp. I have the contour lines with the elevation data. This is the 359 meters above sea level. Okay.
Are they in different layers? Can we hide them and design the
yes, we can,
paints, etc.?
Yeah, you have,
yeah, that's
here.
Perfect.
You have the intermediate contour lines. For example, we go for, I don't know, this one. And then we have the major one. We pick a similar color, but it's a little bit darker. And then we have unknown hour type. This is the hour camp normally. We said which is gonna be magenta. And then we have a maximum elevation location. We choose, I don't know, another different yellow, for example. And those are dots, those are points. And minimal elevation level, we choose another one. We can choose, I don't know, the blue one. Okay. I close it. Then normally you select everything, and you tell them that you have to go for by layer. And here we go. Okay. And then you have your settlement over here. You have the child-friendly space. Probably it has been put on the same layer, but you can work on that. Okay. And you have the major contour lines, and you have the minor contour lines, which is also nice because when you will do the watershed analysis in Global Mapper, and you will transfer the information on AutoCAD because you prefer to design in AutoCAD, okay, because you are most used to it, that's totally fine. Okay, let's assume that now we create a new layer, and we call it, I don't know, we call it, for example, family plot. Okay, we give it a different color so we can categorize it like this gray-green, and we set it as a current layer. Okay. Now we see we're gonna build our family plot. create a polyline over here. I'm not putting any dimension. This is just to understand the process. Of course, you will have to do it properly. And then I have created my family plot over here. I mean, this drawing, it's important you never change the position of your stuff, otherwise you lose your georeference that position. You get my point? So don't move around the drawing as such. In this case, I can say, okay, keep saving my drawing. I will say save as, for example, Dream Team Site Planning. We will call it, we will work on DWG1. And now we can keep designing. We design our camps, we put the roads, we do whatever we want to do. When it's a matter to transfer back, okay, to Quantum GIS or Global Mapper, my suggestion at the beginning is to do it layer by layer. Of course, you can do every simultaneously, but you might be a little bit confused. So this work has been saved. What I do now, I simply freeze the elements I want to transfer. I know I cannot freeze because it's the current layer. So I put 0, then I freeze this layer. Okay. Then I erase everything. And I save this file, save as DXF, and I call it, this is Dream Team Site Planning DWG1. It's a family plot. DXF. Okay. Again, I have to save it, sorry, save as Dream Team family plot DXF. Save it. Yes. And then I have to close the window. So I can keep AutoCAD running, but I have to close the windows. Then I go to Global Mapper. I say, open the data. I go to Site Planning Simulation. I go to CAD. I go to Family Plot DXF. I open it. Okay. The projection, I check it, is that one. And I have it here. So again, for example, from this one, for example, then I select this one again, and I say File, Export. Oops, sorry. File again. For example, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Export. Export a vector. Not anymore DXF, but I go to choose shapefile, which is the file that Quantum GIS use, and I say okay. Export the areas. I will go to Quantum GIS folder, and I call it, for example, family plot, and I have it here. And I say, okay. Then I can go back, for example, to Quantum GIS and tell him, add shapefile, search, family plot, shape, SHP, remember, open it, and I have it here. So for example, if I know that, for example, this is a child-friendly space, for example, maybe I have the need to know how this child-friendly space is far from the next school. You know, guys, I'm just guessing, okay? I'm just guessing what the kind of information that you might see here. But you understand that this is a way to understand and rely on this kind of data, which is, and to build up your site planning, rising your consciousness, rising the knowledge that you can put over here. So you understand that making the site planning is not just an engineering exercise, but it's a really kind of multitasking effort. For example, over here on my Quantum GIS, I can simply click here. First of all, refresh the image, and then I have my friendly space. Since I have selected update automatically the legenda, as you can see, without doing anything, I have it already here, the child-friendly space. So when you design a camp and you have to present your camp, you can have excellent forms of mapping with a very good legenda. You don't have to do anything. So those are the capabilities that we would like you start using. Then if you want to use a different software, that's okay. But this is the way of working. Okay, guys?
So thank you, but I have like one question about that. So here I can say that this is the final, let's say, drawing that I may include in my project, right? As I'm observing now, right? After I distributing and designing the family plots in this area, specific area, then I can, this is the final drawing, right? Like if I can say that.
Yes, as you mean as a design of your settlement?
Yeah, like after, before just exporting to using in QGIS, in AutoCAD, I just like draw everything, all the requirement, the wash component and the tent locations. Then I just export it to QGIS to just link it with the map, with Google Map or roads, right?
Absolutely.
So yes. Here the question, like what's, I didn't get the idea from Google Earth. What did we get information to reach this point from Google Earth?
Okay, I don't use Google Earth very often, but I could quote a very practical example. For example, let's go.
Since we have this map, like really good map on QGIS, so we can get all the needed information from QGIS, right?
Yes. I mean, basically, you will not need Google Earth anymore. Because this will give you an interoperability, and it's such a user-friendly software, and its capabilities are so high that when you go back to Google Earth, you will find it, which is a very limited software. Okay.
I think Ahmed is asking, I'm not sure, but Ahmed is asking about the starting point, like from where we are going to get the file to start using QGIS and Global Mapper, and like export it as an AutoCAD file or
yeah,
DWG.
You're right, Amar. Like I just yeah, maybe you're right.
Okay.
I just was talking about the first step. Yeah.
Okay, I totally understand. Okay, depends the kind of tool you have in the field. If you can rely just on a mobile phone, probably with your mobile phone, you will create a KMZ file or a GPX file, simply the track of your path, like going for hiking. Okay, okay. And so I was assuming that one of your colleagues went to this place and simply start walking around and has created a KMZ file that I sent you by a text message with WhatsApp or email. That might be the way of starting. Or what he can do, if maybe he doesn't have a mobile phone, doesn't have any GPS device, he's an old style surveyor, he has got just AutoCAD. Okay, no problem. This guy will carry out his survey. Okay, do you see here there are some kind of infrastructures over here? Okay, so what he will do when he will carry out the survey, you have a tutorial how to import in Global Mapper a surveyed made with the total station. You have a tutorial. Let's guess. Unfortunately, over here, there are not that many buildings. But since you have a good insight, probably he might have the total station over here. So what he does, he survey, for example, the corner of this house over here, or maybe the corner of this house over here. At least 2 or 3 points that you can see from the satellite. For example, this house over here, maybe this one over here, maybe this one over here. Okay. Is a simply exercise of alignment. Okay. Because you can, like here, I can create a new file over here, and I call it, it's a polygon. I'd say yes. And I will call it existing houses. And then I make my drawing. I see that, wow, here it's important that if I survey, this is one house. I have one over here. Wow, here there is another one. Okay, maybe here, what is it? I have another house over here. Look at this one. This is easy because it's on the edge of the road. And maybe, I don't know if we see anything else, but these two here are enough. So what's going to happen? Our surveyor, I have a building over here. I didn't see it. Look at this one. I have a small, tiny building. So existing houses, I'm going to draw it. Okay, so my surveyor will make a survey, for example, picking the corner, the top corner of this building, the top corner of this one, and this one. Okay, you get my point. And then, for example, in this case, I save them. I go back to Quantum GIS. Emergency settlement. I'm going to open the existing Quantum GIS. Where are they? I get my existing houses over here. And you see that I have all the buildings. Okay. Then what I can do, just to make it easier.
George, sorry for interrupting. I have to leave. I will watch the recordings later on.
Oh, Jesus, I forgot the recordings.
No, you are recording already.
Am I?
You're already recording.
Yeah, it's recording, by the way.
I can see the...
Oh, okay, well done. Phew. Well done. Okay, Omer, thank you so much.
So, I'm so sorry.
No problem.
See you guys.
Ciao, Omer. Okay.
Bye-bye.
So basically, I have here the drawings, okay, with my existing building. So what I can do, for example, emergency and existing houses. I make a new one for the sake of exercise. Export. Vector. I go back to DWG. DXF. I normally use DXF and everything. I say yes. I go to CAD and I call it matching satellite with survey. Okay. Then I go to open my file. And I have it here with my buildings. Now I'm just making a fake survey. I have my survey with all my contour lines. Okay. This is one. This is the second contour line. This is the third contour lines. And my guy over here has surveyed the corner. I'm just making on this building over here and the corner of the other building over here. I am assuming the surveyor does not have the capacity to geo-reference its survey. So we are kind of doing on the old style. So, and this is going to be red, so it's easier to see. So I will simply do like this one, align the survey, my excellent surveyor from this corner to this one. And from, for example, this corner to this one. In this case, I select scale the object because, of course, they are not scaled. Okay, because I expect that the survey made by the topographer is properly done and is in the right scale. So I simply have to align his drawing over here. And then I have it. I have the survey of my topographer included in the whole process. Did I make myself clear?
Yes, I got the point.
Yeah,
okay.
But Giorgio, there is something now we said in last sessions that we rely on the detailed survey conducted by the surveyor in the field because it is more, let's say, it is more accurate. So what we've done now is actually we have screwed everything of the surveyor works and we move it and align it to approach the coordinates and these things from the satellite. So basically we have relied now on the satellite infos, not the surveyor infos, right?
Yes, in this specific exercise, yes, definitely if you can count on a very detailed surveys, let's go for it, because for sure it's more precise. But there is one point, and now I go back to show you this one on Quantum GIS. With the satellite data, I can have the contour lines of all a very big area, okay? And as such, I can understand, particularly during rainy, if the water streams which are created during heavy rain, their path, which I cannot understand precisely with the survey, unless I enlarge the survey to the surroundings. You get my point?
Yes.
So you as a designer, you will have to combine the data from a surveyor and from what you can get from the satellite to see, for example, where most likely I will have a water stream during heavy rain, and perhaps to create a drainage system accordingly. So I show you something, guys. This was
in this case, shall I just align the surveyor data to that ones of the satellite, or opposite words?
This is a kind of judgment that you have to see case by case. There is no unique answer. The satellite data are very precise, but they will not see whether there is a group of big stones over there. You get my point?
Yes, yes.
Which is a detail that the surveyors that can see. For example, I don't know. Maybe those are very big rocks. You get my point? Which is, and that you need heavy equipment to remove. And based on the satellite data, you might build a family plot on top of it. But it's thanks to the the surveyor, if this guy is good enough, that he's telling you, hey man, here you have big boulder fields with heavy, big rocks that you have to skip them, you have to avoid them. And probably his contour lines will be more precise over here because the data available in the internet is an average. It's always a simplification of the reality. But let me say something. If, for example, I go here, sorry guys, I'm talking too much. You remember these slides over here? Okay. Do you remember this one?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Those in red are the one which has been created with the global mapper. Okay. I go closer. You see, those red are the one which I have generated through global mapper. Okay. Those gray are the one which has been done by the surveyor. Okay. As you can see, some of them almost match. Like, for example, over here, you see here that is match. This is kind of reassuring because it's telling you that the satellite data can be fairly precise. The point is this one. The survey made by this surveyor was not precise, was not very well detailed as it should be. So my open question is here is this one. What's the point to rely on the surveyor survey if he has taken so few points? I mean, if I look at the distance between those 2 points as too many meters, it's an oversimplification of this piece of land made by the surveyor. I have no idea whether there are trees. I have no idea whether there are anything here that might complicate my life. And so if you can rely on a very good survey, that's fine for me. But if the survey that you can do is just few points to give just a general indication, probably it's not enough. So in that case, it will be your judgment to decide how to combine the two surveys. Did I make myself clear?
Yes, yes, Giorgio, very nice, thank you.
Okay. Okay, guys, you have any other question? Anything that you would like to see?
I have something, as a summarize, let's say, the pathway of what you have done, Giorgio.
Mm-hmm.
If we started from the KMZ file.
Ahmed, do you need a coffee?
I already have one, but you know, it seems I need the extra one.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Make it three,
Yeah.
Ahmed.
Yeah, I will do it for all of you guys.
Thank you
Sure.
very much. And so if we started from the KMZ file, Giorgio,
Mm-hmm.
let's say I would say this as a pathway, yeah, for conducting the file at the end or the design. I've started from the KMZ file and then we exported to a global mapper. Any global mapper, we conducted this projection, the contour lines, etc. And when we have this, we can export it to AutoCAD to have our design finito. And there we can just make everything lines, latrines, let's say, everything. And then we re-import it once again in global mapper. Any global mapper there. This is actually a gap here for me. Why would we re-import it to global mapper? And after that, we will export it to QGIS to have the location, have the nearby things, the cities, towns, roads, etc. And our project will be done. Now my gap is when we re-export it from AutoCAD to global mapper. Why we are doing this?
I mean, it's not necessary. This is a good question. You don't have to do it necessarily, because as long as you have your design and you're happy with that, you can stop with AutoCAD. That's not the point.
No, no, I mean, after finalizing the design in AutoCAD, do we have to re-import it once again to Global Mapper or not?
No, you don't. I mean, it's really up to you. I'm just showing that you can do that if you want to create specific maps. But
okay.
You get my point.
Okay,
it's really up to you.
Okay, okay. This is the condition, yeah. If
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to.
Yeah, it's really up to you, because, for example, you know better than me that, for example, if you design the house for a customer, why you design it? You say, okay, the design is over, and then the construction of the house starts, and then you start to realize, I should have put that wall in the other position because probably it's better. So this is happening particularly also for site planning. Okay, this interoperability between the software gives you the chance even to foresee what's going to happen. Okay, but it's really up to you how to use the software.
Yeah, I think for me, I would do it after I finalize everything on AutoCAD, just to make kind of match between my drawings and the Google map, you know, so it can be more understandable from myself and from my team. I think.
Okay.
Like, you know, to be more realistic, I think.
Okay.
Right. Even for the third 3D visualization. Yeah, Ahmed is right. Is all right.
Yeah.
For the 3D visualization, yani I would prefer to return it once again to Global Mapper.
Yeah.
Or make.
But for me, you know, yeah. But for me, like, I'm using the normal AutoCAD, so I think also it's fine I can just read everything during the 2D. I mean, like the normal AutoCAD, the 2D one.
We have 3 seconds to back.
Yeah, they forced us to come back.
We back home now. Home sweet home.
Yeah, sure. Our team was much better than your team, Andrea. I'm sorry for that. Again, I'm sorry for you guys.
Yeah, I'm sure you are right. Because we finalized everything and we reached to AutoCAD and start your guidelines to put the tent.
Oh.
Yeah.
By us, the whole crisis has finished. No more wars there.
Well done.
So, well, we managed to go through all the, let's say, the